Hi, welcome to this second video explaining the concepts of completing the square. And in this video, we're going to be exploring some more problems, precisely two problems, and we're going to be deriving some new concepts from completing the square. So I hope you're excited about this. So the first sub-question, A, they want us to express a quadratic expression in the form of this. So all it wants us to do is to complete the square. Nothing so complicated. So we just have to follow our usual method. And I hope you already watched my previous video, so you know how to do this. And this is the way you do this. So just in case, this part is correspondent to this part. And you can prove it by expanding the brackets. So this is equal to this. All right, so we have successfully completed the square, and the answer is x minus 2 squared minus 14. Fantastic. And now what we have to do is we have to write down the minimum value. So, okay, this is a new concept right now. What is the minimum value of a quadratic? Well, if you think about the graph of a quadratic, the quadratic minimum value is the point at which the y value is at the lowest point. So the y value has to be lowest. This is the y-axis. Let's put this aside. So, okay, we have this expression. But notice that in the first sub-question, we already completed the square. So let's substitute our completed the square form into y. So y is equal to this, which is equal to this. Fantastic. So this means that our minimum value should be the coordinate that has y as the lowest point. So how do we make y lowest? Well, notice this form. Okay, so consider, u squared. U squared is always positive. Anything squared is always positive or 0. So if u is, for example, -1, we have -1 squared, which is 1. If we have -100, then we have -100 squared, which is 10,000. It's always going to be a positive number or 0. And to make y the lowest number, we want to make this portion contribute as less as possible to the y amount. So we already established that this part is positive. So we want this to be as less positive as possible. And the only number that satisfies that is when this is equal to 0. 0 is the lowest number we can get. And therefore, x minus 2 should be equal to 0. Because if x minus 2 is equal to any negative number or positive number, then this thing is positive, which contributes to the vertical height. And we don't want that contribution, right? Okay, so x minus 2 is equal to 0, which means that x is equal to 2. That's it. We can substitute x is equal to 2 into our formula for y. So y is equal to x minus 2 squared minus 14, which means that y evaluated at x is equal to 2 is equal to 2 minus 2 squared minus 14. And as planned, this term goes to 0, which gives us minus 14. So x is equal to 2, and the corresponding y is negative 14, which means that our coordinate is to negative 14. This is the minimum point, to negative 14. I don't really know why this has, two brackets, but let's ignore it. Okay, so now we have question number 4. So you want to complete the square again, right? And in this time, they don't want us to, just find the expression after we completing the square. They want us to find the actual a and b. So all we have to do is just to complete the square and then find what are the corresponding constants that we have. So we have this. All right, so this is what we get from completing the square, and this is in the form of this. So a is equal to 4 and b is equal to 5. Okay, so Now it tells us the equation of a curve is f of x equal to this. And it wants us to find the coordinate of the minimum point. Notice that this question is essentially in the form of this question. It's just telling us that we have a function right now, and the function is going to be determining the y value. So all we have to do is, to plug in our completed the square form of this quadratic expression and to use our usual method to find the minimum point. All right, so after completing the square, we got this expression. So y equals to f of x is equal to this, which is x minus 4 plus 5. Now, after we've done this, we just have to notice what x value yields a 0 over here. X equal to 4 yields 0. So that means that x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 5, because when we plug in x is equal to 4, this term goes to 0, and all we're left with is a 5. So our coordinate, xy, is equal to 4, 5. 4, 5. Fantastic. And that's how you find the minimum point of these expressions. These questions all have one format. They all want you to first complete the square, and then second, find the minimum point. And to find the minimum value of y, or f of x, all you have to do is to use the form when you've completed the square to make this yield 0, and to use the corresponding x to find y. I.e., we want to find the x that makes this 0, and plug in the x to find y. That's it. So thanks for listening, and I hope we'll see in the next video where we're going to talk about some more difficult problems. See you soon.